Hello guys and welcome to episode 20 I believe this is, of Minecraft Plum Labs. Episode 20, wow, we are doing pretty well today in episode 20 guys. But what I want to make this of is a bit of auto crafting, since the problem is with our refined storage system at the minute is we're doing okay, but we are getting pretty full on storage and stuff. And making stuff like these 4K drives and the 16K drives and all that is a huge pain. But what I think I am going to do is get an auto crafting system that will hopefully make my life a hell of a lot easier. So a basic processor, we're going to need all this stuff again. So we're going to have to annoyingly make, all of the really basic stuff first. So what I'm going to do is get myself a machine casing. How do I make you? Quartz enriched iron. Do I have any quartz enriched iron? Yes, we do. So I think I'm going to make a couple of crafters to begin with. Where are you again? I always keep forgetting where they are. So crafters here. And we're going to need some basic processes, which requires this, these raw basic processes again. What are we missing to make more of those? That's an advanced one. The advanced one, I believe, is just the same made with diamond. What are we missing to make this guy? We're missing the process of binding, which is slime and some string. Not the end of the world to make, I suppose. So let's see if we can get you, and let's get you smelted up. Go away, ore. Okay, so if I get the crafter out, and how many of these guys do I actually need? I don't know if we'll be able to make lots of crafters, guys, by the looks of things, given that they require... Is that 2 diamonds each? Wow, that's pretty expensive, I must admit. Just to make some processes. So if I stick you in there... I believe I can just stick my ore back in here anyway, so it's not really the end of the world. So if I look up the crafter... and destruction core, so you are just some basic processor cores, so I'm going to need quite a lot of you. What are we missing to make you? What's this guy's beef? Okay, we're out of the silicon. Silicon, we found in the last episode, is pretty easy to make. So it was basically just a matter of getting the nether quartz, basically pulverizing that up, and smelting it, which we saw last episode. You are complaining, aren't you, because you have some flint in there. So I can put this guy through anyway, and it's not going to be too much of a problem. Well, if you look at all this stuff in here, guys, that we've got from the all that rotten flesh and stuff. That is just from our mob farm. So we're getting quite a bit of stuff actually, like bone meal and stuff. I'm almost tempted to say that with the bone meal, we can just make ourselves some sort of like farm, like with the automated farm. I can just get myself like the automatic bone mealer. But I believe for potatoes we are doing pretty well for potatoes anyways. It's not too much of an issue. Well, we're 86% full. I'm really glad the last episode we made that 1K drive. So, do we now have enough to make the... well, at least one of these cores. So, basic processor... Can we make some more of these guys? Yeah, so I can now make 5 of these guys, which isn't the end of the world. I'll stick you back in the pulverizer. So if I go back to the auto crafter again. So we have destruction cores. I believe we can make one of you. I might even make a couple of these, actually, because I'm going to aim to make 2 crafters. I'm worried about our diamonds, actually. That's the main thing I'm kind of worried about. What are we missing to make this guy? Oh, we're still missing the silicon, aren't we? Because that is still... do we really run out of silicon again? I'm really concerned about nether quartz, actually. I think that's one thing that I'm worried that we are definitely going to be running out of. The gold I'll put on hold for just a second. I'm also going to kick this guy out of JEI mode, just to make life a little bit easier on us. So... can we now make one of you? Okay. Oh, okay. So we're out of diamonds. So that's... we can make 1 crafter for the time being, which isn't the end of the world. We're just going to have to let the quarry run and stuff before we can get a chance to do that. So I'll get the rest of the stuff to make a 2nd crafter. So we need some of you. We've got a couple of you. But we might actually have... yeah, we've got stuff to make 1 crafter. Now what we're also going to need, which I'm also going to JEI synchronize this now... You're not JEI synchronized, are you? Okay, I'll JEI synchronize you now, because we're going to need to make ourselves a pattern grid. So a pattern grid is just basically a grid with an advanced processor on it and a pattern. So the grid we made a couple of these guys when we was doing the auto crafting. Because it might not have been the end of the world actually to make that we made a bunch of those extra things. So we've got a construction core. We're just going to need to make some of these improved processes. So I will smelt these guys. And we have that. We've got the machine So I believe all we should need really is... Oh, we had a glass again. Yep, we're out of glass again, guys. We have some gravel anyway, so I might just... You know what, I'm just going to throw the gravel in there and that can then automatically go. So the grid, we need the glass, we've got the machine casing. We're just going to need this destruction core, which... Right, nether quartz. Okay, guys, trip to the nether, we'll be right back. Okay, guys, back from the nether. Got a little bit of nether quartz. Got a little bit of netherrack while I was there. I suppose it's not really got much of a use for it, but why not? Just a little bit of, you know, extra nether quartz, why not? Okay, so I think what I'm now going to do is throw this into the pulverizer. Basically, I've got the gravel going at the minute. It's not like, you know, the end of the world. I think this guy, it doesn't produce any byproducts. It's not going to, you know, the flint in there is not going to bother it, is what I'm trying to say. So, can I now make... Although, actually, I've just realised something. I've just come back from the nether and I'm doing that one. That's not even what I was meant to be using it for. I'm being a derp again. Apologies, guys. That was me, again, being a derp. So, can I now make... Can I make a basic grid? But what I'm going to need to do is convert this guy into a pattern grid. What am I missing to make the pattern grid? So I need to make the advanced processor. I believe I have that raw advanced processor, thankfully. So I'm going to smelt that guy up, and that shouldn't be, you know, too much of an issue. And we should be able to make the pattern grid. So if I now go to the pattern grid, yep, we now have a pattern grid. So you're probably wondering, hey, what do you do with a pattern grid that you can't do with a normal grid? Well, you can basically get these patterns, which are pretty expensive considering they require quartz-enriched iron. I suppose quartz-enriched iron is not like, you know, the most expensive thing in the world, but it's a little bit expensive nonetheless. So I'm going to get this guy here, and we're going to get that pattern made. I'm also going to get that gravel resmelted. And just as a really basic example, I'm just going to show you just a really basic thing that we're making. So these basic processors. So also last episode we were trying to make these 16K storage drives, and also we had all of these really, you know, crazy components that are pretty expensive. So what I can do is, for example, the raw basic processor, what we can do is put this guy in here for the raw improved processor, create this guy as a pattern. I can then get my crafter, plonk him down here, and stick this guy in here. So say I want to, if I look at raw this, I can now say I want to make one of these, I can say craft, and he'll make it for me. And you're probably thinking, okay, so we can make one basic item, how is that going to be helpful? Well, eventually, I'm going to be able to have an interface, so I'll just make that raw basic pattern, for example, I'll be able to get it to automatically smelt. Which, if I'm honest, I probably could do now, actually. The auto-smelting may come in a little bit later, but for crafting stuff, I don't see why we can't integrate that that functionality now, basically. So this stuff here, so the silicon and the glass and stuff. Do we have any more patterns, actually? That's probably something I could probably do a make, actually, some more patterns. Let's get you into JEI mode. And how many patterns can we make? I don't, oh. Okay, I'm in the wrong grid, I completely derped out there. So if I turn this guy into a pattern, so if I can also teach this guy the recipe to actually make patterns, which is kind of cool. So if I stick this pattern in here, I can teach this guy how to make patterns. So I can then go in here, I can say, okay, I want some more patterns, craft it, and it'll tell me, I can see that I'm missing glass, just for instance. Are you, yep, so you're still smelted away, but we're also a little bit low on glass. So to be able to make these drives, guys, I think what I am going to do is basically get myself some sort of smelting setup, as I was talking about earlier. So to basically smelt stuff, I can even use something like a really basic furnace if I really wanted to. But I don't, you know me, I don't like using basic furnaces. I might just get myself, you know, just a basic redstone furnace, which I've been using. Oh, you're going to be a pain, aren't you? And you're going to force me to go outside and use my whatchamacallit machine to make myself some iron gears even. I really wish they didn't have this bug in the pack where, I don't know if it's so much of a bug, but it is very much so a pain where I have to permanently you know, come out here and create the gear rather than just be able to create the gear in the crafting bench. So here we go, guys. I'm just basically waiting for my... Whoops. I'm just waiting for my iron gear to pop up out of the smeltery. And now, hopefully, we should have everything we need to go ahead and make a basic redstone furnace. As I believe this was the last component we didn't have. Let's see, redstone furnace. Well, it was the last component we needed for our machine chassis anyway. Why are you not... Please tell me it wasn't a different type of gear and it wasn't... Oh, it was a tin gear. So I didn't even need to go outside and make that iron gear. Me being a bit of a derp again. So, redstone furnace. I could probably do with again a couple of copper gears as well for this guy. And this guy. And I believe that's probably going to be everything we need, except for the bricks. We don't have any bricks. Do we have any clay? That's probably going to be... Although we do have some bricks. So as much as we don't have any clay, I believe we just turned all of our clay into bricks, which isn't the end of the world. I'm really scared by all these noises. I can just hear all these noises going on around, and I'm not quite sure what's going on. So we have a machine frame. Why is the... I'm sure we just made the machine frame. Why has the machine frame disappeared off to? That's kind of bizarre. I'm sure we had the machine frame like a second ago, and now the machine frame has just decided, hey, I'm not going to be here anymore. Maybe we didn't craft it, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just have to go on the basis that we didn't craft it. Since it's not here anymore, and I'm not quite sure why. Like I said, I'm just going to have to go on the basis that I didn't craft it, and I'm just going insane. Yeah, I think I just didn't craft it and I'm going insane. Probably all these scary noises that are causing me to go insane. So now I need to think of a place to put this redstone furnace. But before I'll be able to actually do anything with it, I'm going to need some kind of interface to be able to actually work with him. So if I go to refine storage, I believe there's some kind of interface I can basically use to allow the refined storage system to be able to talk to a furnace and basically auto-craft through a furnace. So I can then craft things to be furnished on demand. Now, I'm not quite sure where the interface is. So that's the stuff for AE2, which uses a lot of the ME interfaces and stuff. I'm just looking for the one from refined storage now. I'm just trying to find it. Here is the interface. So it requires some importers, which requires more of these destructive cores. And of course, this is really the reason why I want to have automatic cores and stuff, since this is really a bit of a pain to do. So, do we have any of these guys? I suppose the good thing is I can just have it automatically craft that for me, which I suppose is a good thing. See, I'm not going to complain about that. That like automatic storage is kind of good. So, do we now have everything to make our interface? We possibly have enough to make a couple of importers, which we... I think one interface is going to be enough for now. Do we have enough to make you? I'm hoping we have enough to make him now. What are we missing? We're missing one block for the list. Oh, we're missing that one importer. Derp. Are we? Oh, it's an exporter. Ah, derpy, 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 derp. So what is... Well, I mean, we have a spare importer, I suppose, that I just kind of wasted. That, which was a little bit annoying. Let's stick that guy in there. And hopefully we should now be able to make that exporter. Yep, there we go. So I can now stick this guy in here. And there we go. We've got everything we need to make for the interface now. So I'm just going to go get myself some cabling, along with some flux ducts. Oh, the one thing I've just realised, actually, I probably am going to need an importer. Since, if I'm honest, I didn't really consider this actually when I was doing this, but yeah, an importer is definitely going to be helpful. So, if I'm honest, I'm tempted to actually run this underground, because I don't really need this guy exposed. Is there any kind of power lines? In fact, there's a power line directly here, actually, so what I might do is run this guy here. So if I run the redstone furnace here, I'll just move the torch, say, around the corner. I can run the interface there, so I don't need to, you know, connect that up with any cabling. And I could possibly run the importer here. I'll run that like that. And I believe this is going to be exactly what we want. So I believe if I set this guy to output on the top, then if it's not even on the top, it's on the back, isn't it? I need to input from the top. So if I have this guy input from the top, I can basically teach this guy how to make certain things. So for example, I can say, for example, I want to make one of those, so that raw processing thing that we had before. So that raw, so if I get one of you, what are you missing? Oh, I'm missing the silicon. That's the quartz, like I said, I'm not so bothered about this, since it's not, you know, too big of a problem, just to be able to continually doing that to get some more of that silicon, and then I suppose it automatically comes through. So I'm not, you know, majorly worried about that, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to just live with this for now. So to make myself one of those improved processors, just take, for instance, say I want to make these improved processors. Of course, it is just a basic smelting process. So if I get one of you, you should be able to make this guy happily now. What I am going to have to do, though, is smelt one of these guys. And the reason I'm going to have to smelt one of these guys is I'm going to have to teach the recipe. Since it obviously isn't a straight crafting recipe, I'm going to have to teach this guy directly how to make an improved processor. So if I get one of these guys, and I go to the pattern terminal, and I basically click this processing thing, I basically need to say that one of these will yield one of these. And I put this in the pattern terminal, and I basically stick the interface guy in here. Now, why did he... Oh, I put him in the wrong place, didn't I? So, yeah, derp. What I meant to do is put him inside the... I believe, where does he actually go? I believe he possibly goes in... Okay, guys, so I learned what I did. And it's not an interface that you actually use anymore. I said I'm a little bit rusty with sort of this mod, so can you forgive me? Ever so slight issue. I believe this guy's facing the wrong way, though, so what I am going to need to get myself is a wrench from refined storage. Do I have it to make you? I don't believe I do. So I'm going to get this wrench, and I'm going to flip this guy round. There you go, so now he's facing that way. And I believe the pattern I've got, I can then stick this guy in here. So now he's recognising, there we go, redstone furnace. So if I now say improved processor, I can then say start. And what he's going to do is going to craft it, and there you go. Straight away, improved processor went straight into the furnace, and it got imported by the importer, and it got made. So, bingo. Everything appears to be working on that front. So I'm glad I've got the smelting out of the way. So what I'm probably now going to need to do is I'm going to go back to the reason I started this episode, really, and that was for the 16K storage parts. So the 4K storage parts also requires the 1K storage parts, which requires these guys. Now, do I have enough patterns, actually? That's probably... Can I make, say, 10 of these guys? Okay, it's the quartz-enriched iron we're missing out on. I can't believe I went to the nether to go get some more quartz, actually, and we're still low on quartz-enriched iron. Kinda sad. So I'm going to go get some patterns, and, you know, I'm going to say get about 8 of these guys, and stick these guys in here. So I can now take this guy off of processing, and hopefully he should be fine. And what I'm going to need to do is obviously teach this guy how to make stuff for a 16K storage guy. So the 1K storage part is simply that. So I can teach this guy how to do this, and I can stick this in the basic autocrafter we have here. So this guy's obviously just going to basic, you know, he's just going to do basic crafting recipes rather than doing anything like smelting or anything. So that is fine. The 40K storage pot, we know how to make those. We don't know how to make these guys. So that's probably something we're going to have to teach the system. Is how to make the basic 1K storage parts. But do we already? Okay, we've already taught it actually. Derp. So I'm going to need to know how to make these guys. So I'll turn that into a pattern. And it's also going to need to know the processing part of that. So it now knows how to make does it? Or have I not put it in? Okay, I haven't put it in. So it now knows how to make some raw, basic storage components. Now we're missing processor binding again. Damn it. Processor binding. That's something I have to make. Dope. It's not a pattern. That's one thing that you always seem to get mixed up is which terminal you're in. So if I go into this guy, I can now be like, hey, make me a raw one of these guys. Let's make 2 versions of these guys. One of them is of course going to be smelted. One of them is going to go into the pattern terminal. So if I close off this guy, go into processing, and I say I want one of these to be made into one of these. So if I stick you in here, I say it's a 1-to-1 ratio, and I stick this guy in here, he should now be able to make me some basic storage components. So there you go. So we'll stick those guys back in here, and back to our 16K dilemma. So we're getting close to the wrapping up point for the episode, so that was in the complete wrong thing again. So if I go into here, and I say do that, I'll say tell it that's how to make a 16K storage component. So it now knows how to make, does it know how to make the 1K one? Or the 4K one rather? I don't think it does. So there you go, so now it knows how to make that, that and that. Does it know how to make quartz enriched iron? That's probably something I can probably do with teaching it. I'm tempted to teach it quartz enriched iron actually. Yeah, it's going to be something that it's going to have to make quite a bit in the future, so it's not quite the end of the world teaching it how to do it. Oh, the last thing to probably do is the storage housing. Storage housing isn't too much of a deal at all. 16K storage housing, it is just simply that, which isn't, you know, too big of an issue. So can we now say we want... Oh, that's probably one thing actually, the last thing we really need to teach it. If we really want to make the 16K storage drives, we're going to need to teach it exactly how to make a 16K storage drive. So 16K. Can I now say I want one of these? And, okay, so you're missing your processor binding, you're missing glass, and you're missing silicon. One thing I must admit, I'm very happy. It's kind of gone off the screen a little bit, but it's telling us that we're missing the silicon, which is the nether quartz again. So, but you know what I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to wrap the episode up here because we're pretty much at the wrapping up point. Autocrafting for the storage parts, I'm pretty happy to say we're nearly there, actually, for getting a decent amount of, you know, storage disks and automating that. So we're going to have a little bit more automation next episode, but I think we're going to hit the wrapping up point here. So thank you for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. Goodbye from Painted Plum. Built an empire of stars.